Problems of devolution starts with this problem of delayed disbursement of funds. Madam Speaker, even issues like absorption in county projects, the problem starts here, Madam Speaker. The issues of planning of projects in counties, the problem starts here. Madam Speaker, even issues of performance in the counties starts here, because how do you expect to have a performing workforce in counties when people are not being paid in time, Madam Speaker? Even the morale of the staff goes down. That's why you go to counties and you find that staff are not even working. They don't go to work. And when there is no money in the county, even the governors don't sit in their offices, Madam Speaker, because contractors are on their neck, employees have not been paid, so they leave the office. Senior officials of the counties don't even sit in offices, Madam Speaker, and that overall affects the performance in the counties. So the problems of devolution, Madam Speaker, if you ask me, and Madam Speaker, you are a Vice Chair of Committee of Devolution. Madam Speaker, I would like you to listen to me and my good friend Senator Sigei is interrupting you. I am saying, Madam Speaker, you are the Vice Chair of Devolution Committee. If there is one single thing that your committee, working closely with the Finance Committee, is going to do in this House, is to look at this problem of late disbursement of funds to the counties. We must get a solution to that, because that is the source of problems in devolution in this country. I am saying that with authority because, Madam Speaker, 2 weeks ago, I led a delegation of my committee and some county officials to go and study the devolution system in Morocco. I was surprised. I was surprised that their process of disbursement to counties or regions is flawless. There is no problem of delayed disbursement to the counties, and therefore they are able to do their work in time. And when it comes to auditing, they have a different auditing method, Madam Speaker. Their auditing method is a judicial method based on the French model, where counties or regions appear before a magistrate setup, and they are able to defend their reports, and judgment is issued there and there, so that if you have stolen, you are taken to jail from there, or penalties are issued there. So we need to look at ways of strengthening devolution. And our role under Article 96 of the Constitution is to protect devolution. I want to say that if indeed this House exists to protect devolution, I think we must deal with this problem of late disbursement of funds. Suggestions have been made in the past, Madam Speaker. I remember in the past there was a suggestion by COG that to solve this problem, why can't we have a contingency fund in central bank, where the national government will put in their money and counties will be able to borrow at minimal, extremely minimal interest. Because now, counties, so what do counties do? They go to commercial bank, they are given loans at higher interest, and they end up now paying even more. That end up even affecting their budgets, Madam Speaker. So in fact, I want to recommend that one of the things the Finance Committee should do is to try and carry out a research to find out how much are counties paying in terms of interest arising from late disbursement of funds. And Madam Speaker, you will discover is billions of money, Madam Speaker. And this is also another source of corruption, Madam Speaker. Because now, county officials...
Senator Sotsi, the chair has now changed to Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, my good friend, I have seen.
Thank you.
Sorry for that. So, Mr. Speaker, This is also another source of corruption because county officials are colluding with bank officials so that they can get some kickbacks by getting loans from commercial banks at a higher interest. So a solution needs to be found so that we can get to the bottom of this matter, because as I said earlier, this is the real source of cancer affecting devolution in this country. Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, sorry. Mr. Speaker, we have this problem of delayed disbursement in our counties. But we don't have the similar problem in national government. You will never hear that salaries in national government have been delayed. They are always paid on time, Mr. Speaker. But our counties, people are running several months without pay. They are running several months without pay. And these same people are the ones entrusted to collect ONSO's revenue. So what are they going to do? They will simply collect the ONSO's revenue and pay themselves, waiting for the salary to come. And that's why we're having a problem with ONSO's revenue management in our counties, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to ask the Treasury, if this House of Parliament can pass a disbursement schedule, and you take it, you put it aside like a piece of paper, some junior officer there who manages exchequer is more powerful than this House, that we can pass such an important motion and then nothing happens. I know recently, Mr. Speaker, we passed a disbursement schedule on additional allocation, which contained 80% were donor funds. As we speak now, that money has not been disbursed to counties. And yet it's donor money. So what happens there, Mr. Speaker? That even donor money that has already been remitted to national government is never disbursed to the counties. It is delayed because that money is put in other things, Mr. Speaker. It's put in other things, and our counties are suffering. And that's why, Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with Senator Wambua proposal that we don't need national treasury. We need treasury, Kenyan treasury, that is going to serve both the national government and the county government. We need a full department in treasury that is going to deal with the county governments, and not what is there now, Mr. Speaker. Because the national treasury is working at the whims of the executive, the national government, and they don't care about county governments. Something has to be done, and maybe we need a law to be brought to this House to be very clear on how the national treasury is going to be organized, so that the treasury is not going to serve the interest of national executive. It is going to serve the interests of two levels of government. Mr. Speaker, I also wanted to demonstrate the effect, the spiral effect of late disbursement of funds. What happens? We are going to pass this disbursement schedule. They will sit on it for the next 1 month, and then they will disburse money for July. And then after that, that money now, counties accessing it, they have now to come to COB. COB now will take another 1 month. And then now when it goes to the counties, of course there is other delays there. The county assembly will even suffer more, because now the county assembly has to get their money through the county executive. And that's why we are saying that law that we passed in this House, the financial autonomy of county assembly, must now be implemented immediately, because the president has already signed it into law. Why is it not being implemented, Mr. Speaker? We want to see a scenario where this late disbursement of funds does not continue affecting the oversight in our counties. Because these spiral delays, it is also affecting the level of quality of oversight in our counties, because the MCAs don't get their money in time. MCAs are not paid in time, just like county officials. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the committees of finance, the committees of devolution, I think they need to look at these bottlenecks in devolution very seriously. And my understanding is that all the problems of devolution starts here, including pending bills. Our good friend here, Senator Ledama, came up with a very good motion here on pending bills. We passed it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, nothing has been done, Mr. Speaker. Nothing has been done. We gave recommendations to COB. We gave recommendations to the counties. They have ignored those recommendations, and the pending bills are piling in our counties. Mr. Speaker, why are we here for? If the things that we pass in this House are never implemented by relevant organizations. And I think it's a high time, we have said it many times here, Mr. Speaker, that is a high time institutions like COB are called to appear in the committee of the whole House so that we question them on these issues. Even EACC should be called and appear here. What they are doing in our counties, it is a mess. They come, they raid the county offices, carry files away, and then now they will stay for years with those files. When the county executive appears in the oversight committees of Park and Peak, they come and say, we don't have documents. Why? They were taken away by. And this is a mess. It is affecting devolution in many ways. So, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to put more focus around this issue of this issue of disbursement of funds. And most importantly, we must get an explanation. Money that is already given to government is being delayed to come to us. Money that is given by donors under additional allocation. Why would it take long to be taken to counties, and yet the of finance and devolution, they need to up their game. And I believe that if up their game. And I believe that if they did something, then we will stop this crybaby kind of thing that we go through every year when we are passing this schedule, and become real protectors of devolution in this country. Mr. Speaker, for those many remarks, I support.
I'll call upon Senator Okoiti Omtata.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this motion, which I support, but with a few comments. Among my comments, I will start off where my good brother, Senator Soti, was going to but stopped short. Mr. Speaker, we are dealing with a design problem that cannot be solved with a lot of English. Yes, my county has been allocated some good money, and every month end, it is supposed to receive, every mid-month, it's supposed to receive some, about 630,000 shillings. It has been allocated 7.956 billion for the year 2025-2026. Now, the problem is with the national treasury is a design problem. The Constitution never anticipated or expected that the national treasury to be a ministry of the national government. The national treasury was supposed to be autonomous so that it can serve all the 48 governments, the national government and the 47 county governments equitably and equally. But because the National Treasury is a ministry headed by a cabinet secretary and headed by a principal, who is assisted by the principal secretary and the departments there, that's basically how Section 11 of the Public Finance Management Act defines the National Treasury. That is in contradiction with Article 225, Clause 1 of the Constitution, which clearly requires that the National Treasury shall be set up by an Act of Parliament, or an Act of Parliament shall provide for the National Treasury. To underscore that, if you go to Article 152, 1D, it clearly says that we shall have not fewer than 14 cabinet secretaries and not more than 22 cabinet secretaries. Not less than 14 and not more than 22. Much later on, in 225, is when the National Treasury is being set up. There's nowhere it was anticipated that the National Treasury would be part of the national government. That it will be headed by a cabinet secretary and a minister, and a cabinet secretary and a principal secretary appointed by the president and who serve at the pleasure of the president, who have no security of tenure. And you have heard the president say that, I have given counties money. How? Whose money can he give to counties? He can't give counties money. We must get the institution right. We must create an independent treasury as anticipated and have an independent treasurer, a professional who has security of tenure, who is competitively recruited, he can't be fired, and that man will ensure that the law is dealt with. We shall stop lamenting about the late disbursement of funds to county governments. Even the corruption we are talking about, we also need a similar institution at the county government. We must take the money away from the governor. The idea of having an imperial governor at the county and an imperial president at the national level is what we should be fighting in this house. We must ensure the separation of powers. The executive power should remain with the president, but the power of the purse should go back to parliament and be vested in three institutions. That's parliament itself, which does the budget, the control of budget, who oversees the budget, and the national treasurer, who then disburses funds in a professional manner, not according to political whims. The same structure should be there at the county government. We must slay the imperial governor, take money away from the governor and invest it in an independent county treasurer who cannot be fired by the governor, who is competitively recruited, and who serves the public, not an individual. That way we shall protect money. That particular person will be able to ensure that there are no pending bills. Because pending bills are unconstitutional. They should not be there. And pending bills are not a public debt. That's something we should also clarify. Article 214 of the Constitution is very clear on what constitutes a public debt. And that article gives it very clearly that public debt is a charge on the consolidated fund, but an act of parliament shall provide for charging all that. Now, part 2 of 214 clearly defines what a public debt is. For the purpose of this article, the public debt means all financial obligations attendant to loans raised or guaranteed and securities issued or guaranteed by the national government. That alone says that a county government has got no capacity to incur a public debt. So a pending bill cannot be a public debt, and that's why I want to depart with the motion that we passed in this House that was saying that pending bills should be the first charge on the county revenue fund. They are not public debts, because the public debt is clearly defined in the Constitution. And I agree with the Controller of Budget for not agreeing with the motion we passed in this House, because that motion was unconstitutional, null and void. The motion saying that we should, the motion Honorable Olekina Ladema moved in this House, the Senator for Narok, that motion was unconstitutional, null and void, because it failed to understand the concept of a public debt. And so,
Senator Olekina, what's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, sometimes when I listen to my good friend Okiya Mtata, I really wish that he went to law school and not just practice law outside and not having gone to really understand the role of Parliament. Parliament pronounces itself through motions or bills. So is the good senator in order to suggest that this Parliament will pass unconstitutional motions, or this Parliament will not pronounce itself? Then what else are we doing here? You know, sometimes it confuses me whether we know the work that we are doing in this Parliament. If we're in this Parliament, we are here to convince each other. You know, we have two sides of the aisle. So I really hope that you can find the good senator out of order, because this Parliament does not pass motions which are unconstitutional. We have a secretariat, Mr. Speaker, that advises. So in fact, it's like saying the work that the secretariat do in this Parliament, they are not competent. You can't.
Senator Olekina, you've made your point.
It's completely uncouth to actually suggest that this Parliament can pass laws which are unconstitutional or motions that
have made your point. Just a point of clarification before I give directions on it. If you followed the argument by Senator Okoiti, in the context of a motion that was moved, he indicated that he would depart, in his opinion, with the motion. So, Senator Okoiti, you may proceed with your arguments on it.
yes, my argument is that my reading of Article 214, the one that says that a public debt shall be a first charge on the consolidated fund, goes further to clarify and define what qualifies for that public debt, not any owning. A county governor, for example, cannot go and incur a debt in a hotel and doesn't pay, and it becomes a public debt. A public debt must be a financial obligation attendant to a loan raised or guaranteed and securities issued or guaranteed by the national government. So, when we talk of pending bills, where suppliers have supplied goods and services and have not been paid, that cannot be a pending bill. That cannot be.
Proceed to raise your point of order, Senator Olekina.
Mr. Speaker, you know, let us be factual and let us try to interpret the Constitution accordingly. County governments do not get their money from the consolidated fund. County government gets their money from the county revenue fund. What Senator Okiya Mtata is referring to is on an issue of a public debt that has got to do with the consolidated fund. The consolidated fund deals with funds for the national government. The county government, all county governments accumulate pending bills by not paying money to suppliers. It's simple as that. I supply to a county government, it does not pay me. The financial, every county government, Mr. Speaker, operates on a cash basis of accounting. There's an accrual basis of accounting and a cash basis of accounting. We can give accounting 101 to be able to differentiate the two. When you go to State Department, they are operating on an accrual basis because they depend on the consolidated fund. County governments, every financial year, the money you have, you must spend of it, then what do you call it? It's a pending bill. So let us be clear, when we interpret the Constitution, let us be clear that the Constitution, if you read Article 219, 219 is clear. A county share of revenue means raised by the national government shall be transferred to the county without undue delay and without deduction, except when the transfer has been stopped under this article. When you go back to 217, Mr. Speaker, because you know this matter is very clear and we need to be clear on it. One second, Mr. Speaker. I just want to clarify something
Senator
here.
Lekina,
207.
I want to also
allow
notify
me.
you
Revenue,
of the
no,
fact that, wait, the chair is speaking.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
I want to notify you of the fact that you've already spoken to this bill, and if you are raising an issue as regards a point of order, it is the chair to direct, and I actually was headed to direct Senator Omtata that he should confine himself in his arguments to the schedule for the financial disbursements for the financial year 2025-2026, which you're seeking to clarify by making reference to the Constitution. Senator Okio Omtata? But you do not have the floor. You are raising a point of order. You've already spoken to the matter.
I'm raising, if you allow me to clarify, please, 30 seconds.
Please do so in under 30 seconds.
Mr. Speaker, I am not speaking twice on this matter. I am clarifying a point of misleading. You cannot mislead the public. It is clear. I raised the issue on correcting what Senator Omtata was saying. I am not speaking twice on the matter. I cannot allow such things to go on record when it is clear that the county governments get their funds from the county revenue fund. It is under Article 207 of the Constitution.
You've made your point. Senator Okio Omtata, confine yourselves to the arguments.
Yes, I'll do so, but I think Article 206 defines what a consolidated fund is, and the county governments don't get their money from the county revenue fund. They use the county revenue fund to disperse their money. They get their money from the consolidated fund, because all money raised nationally are kept in the consolidated fund except as directed by an act of parliament to be kept in a different fund. And the county revenue fund does not receive money. The county look at Article 206. Read 206. So for me, what I was trying to say back on the motion is that we need to look at this Constitution keenly. We must not allow pending bills to become something that can burden us into the future. We spend and we implement an appropriation act at the county government. An appropriation act cannot result in you having a pending bill. And there's no way you can carry a pending bill, a bill from one act to another act without the involvement of the assembly that enacted the act. So pending bills have to be cured through a supplementary budget, but not to become a first charge on the new budget, on the new Appropriations Act passed by the Assembly. So we need to look at it, and I'm saying that one of the problems we're now having with finances in the counties, even when we disburse them, is that we have got a mechanism at the county government where the governor is an imperial animal controlling both the money and executive power. We must address that to be able to get rid of things like pending bills, to get rid of the misappropriation of funds, and invest the money in the counties in the professionals. Let us have an independent county treasurer controlling the public money in the county. And at the national level, we must take the treasury away from the executive. The treasury cannot be a ministry of the national government. It must be an independent organ serving the 48 governments. It must also devolve, we must also slay the imperial presidency at the national level by separating the executive power from the power of the purse. The money must go back to parliament. That way we shall be adding value to the debate to try and ensure that county governments are paid on time. So that when the national treasurer does not disperse money on time, we can hold him to account. You can hold his feet to the fire and say, why haven't you done this? And when money is misappropriated, when bills are not paid at the county and work has been done, we can ask the national treasurer, the county treasurer, why have you not paid this money? But when we invest money in politicians, we end up with all the problems we are having. The funds get mismanaged. Can we put a padlock on public funds so that the law, we have all the laws we require. We just have a wrong political culture. Can we get a culture whereby we give the institutions the power they're supposed to have, get the property signs, amend, get rid of laws like Section 11 of the Public Finance Management Act, which make the Treasury basically a cash box for the president, because the president controls the minister and the PS. And so you depend on the president to have money delivered to counties. And none other than the president has said that they have ensured money has gone to the counties. A statement that should never come out of a human being's mouth. Because the law says how the money should be disbursed to counties. And so I really plead that we go that route. On the question of e-procurement, I'm a strong supporter of open governance. And digitalization of systems is one thing that will help us get proper open governance. So e-procurement should go down to counties, only that we must find a way of implementing it in such a way that it is not abused, the way e-citizen has been abused. But if we do it properly, e-procurement should enable us to get to a situation, to a position whereby we are able to see procurement going on, and as it has been rightly cited by Senator Cherargei, in e-procurement we will not be able to allow, because it is transparent and open, we will not be able to allow somebody to procure a bottle of Fanta or Coca-Cola for 1,000 shillings in the open market. So e-procurement is also something I speak to, and I support, and I plead that those opposing it should direct their energy to how do we make it successful? How do we make it succeed and serve the public and not be a bottleneck on the public? Finally, I would urge, even as we talk about these institutional reforms, nothing stops the Treasury as currently constituted, if it really has the goodwill, to go down, to bend down and be able to disperse this money as required, because there's total confusion in counties where workers are not being paid, and some workers have obligations, are exposed to bank loans and what have you, and things get very complicated. So I hope that going forward, the Treasury will see sense in obeying what the law requires, both the Constitution, in a timely disbursal of funds, and the public finance management, which gives the date of 15th of every month that the required funds should be delivered. And I pray that the 7.956 billion shillings meant for Busia will be put to proper use when His Excellency Governor Dr. Paul Nyongesa Otuoma, gets this money, it will go to what it's required. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And with those few remarks, I support the motion.
Thank you, Senator Okoiti. In your argument, I believed you made reference to the fact that we needed to lock up get a padlock for public funds. I tend to think the opposite would have been the case. Get the hold of the key, because we need to spend that money. And therefore, we can't padlock it. We just need to get the right person to hold the key and take care of the public resources. Lastly, I will allow Senator Consolata to make her contributions also to the schedule for financial year 2025-2026 cash disbursement for counties.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity. I also want to contribute towards the report of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on cash disbursement schedule. And I've observed the following, that one, if you look at the backloading of cash disbursements, definitely you realize that it curtails budget implementation at the counties. And in regard to the Constitution of Kenya, I feel that it desecrates, or rather contravenes, Article 203(1)(j) that talks about that requires revenue allocation to counties to be stable and predictable. But sometimes you find that the release of finances is gotten at the tail end of the financial years. So this will definitely hamper the service delivery at the counties. Then there will be a lot of blame shifting between various parties or between various actors at play. So to wrap it all, I have also observed that this must have stemmed from sharing formula. It builds on delayed disbursements. It also leads to pending bills and a lot of controversies at the counties. So much as we are deliberating on this fact, it is important to realize our mandate as a Senate, derived from what the Standing Committee has quoted, that is under Standing Order number 212(3), in conjunction with the PFM Act Cap 412A. So we need to look at those constitutional and legal safeguards in order to operationalize this. Because when we look at counties, devolution was actually meant for empowering the counties, bringing the services closer to the people. So when you look at this hullabaloo of late disbursements at the counties, it tends to affect a lot of progress in regard to projects. We have county CIDPs that will always highlight what is to be done at various levels. Counties will always submit their budget policy papers, the fiscal strategy papers, I think, to the Senate. And it is important for us to scrutinize that and see what is done at what level. From a project management and planning point of view, a project has a definite start and a definite end. So there are those time frames vis-a-vis the budgets that are given. So we normally follow the itemized budget to carry out activities, and that is how the counties operate. And therefore, it is our duty as a Senate, or rather as a House, to maybe infuse something like a monitoring and evaluation tool to keep track of the uptake of these funds. We can also propose to have a risk management and a risk assessment tool so that we can be able also to look at these risks that might culminate out of these hitches in regard to the operationalization, or rather the implementation of the budget. There is also need for us as a House, through the relevant standing committee, to maybe design a feedback loop or other mechanism to fetch information or feedback regarding the uptake of these finances and the way they have been used at the counties. So let's look at it, because it is our fiscal responsibility to oversee the prudent use of public finances or other resources, and also adhere to compliance or rather conformity to the same. I want to finish by pointing out that all this has a circle. We have the leaders in place. We have the COB, we have the ESCC, we have the Auditor General, and all inclusive. So let's harmonize the operations, and as a Senate, let's look at that, because these delays will always even bring conflicts in the counties and even amongst ourselves, in that we shall have to have that silo mentality of having negative competition where there is a mismatch in communication, and that hampers service delivery. So for the purpose of efficacy, let us follow the rules. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Let's rise. Senator Consolata, when the House resumes, you will still, sorry, okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that. Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m. Time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 25th of September, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.